Sometimes people make mistakes when trying to understand others, especially when judging their physical condition, appearance, and the way they live. If anyone has an unusual condition, there is always a hidden story behind it. People can't believe those stories when they're told. But when they see these individuals with their own eyes, they realize we need to change our thoughts about unusual people. Well, this video will take you to 15 old circus freaks with stories you must watch to believe. So, let's get started. Number 15. Levvenia Warren. A crowd once watched a miniature woman stride through a reception hall as if she owned every chandelier in it, and that confident spark belonged to Levvenia Warren. Her size caught attention first, sure, but the way she carried her fame turned her into the true centerpiece of P.T. Barnum's empire. She understood publicity better than half the promoters around her, choosing her wardrobe, her appearances, and even her silences with sharp instinct. Audiences adored the balance she kept between elegance and mischief, delivering just enough charm to leave people whispering long after she left the platform. Off stage, she navigated the chaos of touring life with the poise of someone twice her height, refusing to let anyone treat her as a novelty when she knew she was a professional. Number 14. Fedor Jeffu. Long before promoters shaped his stage persona, official documents in Russia already described Fedor Jeffu as a child born with hypertrichosis, the same condition that had marked his father and turned both into medical curiosities. Barnum acquired his contract while he was still young, rebranding him as Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, and insisting he growl or bark during public appearances to match the myth. Away from the spotlight, he spoke multiple languages, handled correspondence on his own, and pushed back against managers who underestimated him, keeping careful track of wages, travel schedules, and lodging conditions. Photographs from the era show him dressed sharply, often in tailored suits meant to contrast the thick facial hair that made him famous. His tours stretched across the United States and Europe, where doctors, journalists, and curiosity seekers requested interviews, sometimes more interested in his thoughts than the exaggerated stories sold on posters. Number 13. Captain Constantinus. In 19th century Europe, Captain Constantinus emerged as a walking canvas long before tattoos were widely accepted, earning him a reputation that straddled fascination and disbelief. Born in Austria-Hungary, he traveled extensively, displaying the elaborate ink that covered nearly every inch of his body, including his face and scalp, a feat rarely attempted even among circus performers. Each tattoo told a story: mythological scenes, intricate patterns, and portraits that transformed his skin into a vivid, living mural. Audiences gawked at the precision, often mistaking painted illusions for artistry applied in a single session, unaware that the work had taken years to complete. Constantinus's act wasn't just about novelty. He demonstrated physical endurance, sitting for hours in display rooms, answering questions about the significance of each piece, and explaining the cultural influences behind the designs. His tours spanned Europe and America, where collectors, artists, and curiosity seekers examined his body as though it were a rare artifact, blending performance with an unusual form of personal storytelling. Number 12. The Hilton Sisters. Born in the late 19th century in Alabama, the Hilton sisters, Minnie and Daisy, were joined at the hip, a condition that immediately set them apart in a world obsessed with the unusual. Their physical connection required an extraordinary level of coordination, which they transformed into art, performing vaudeville routines with precision that left audiences astonished. Each step, bow, and twirl was practiced to perfection, blending dance, humor, and theatrical timing into acts that seemed effortless despite the obvious challenges. Beyond performance, they understood the business side of showmanship, negotiating contracts and appearances in a way that few performers of their era managed. Photographs from their tours show matching costumes tailored to accommodate their shared body, emphasizing symmetry while highlighting individuality. The sisters traveled extensively, from small-town theaters to large city playhouses, captivating crowds not merely because of their conjoined form, but because they delivered professionalism, charm, and stagecraft that rivaled the best performers of their generation. Number 11. Frank Lentini, three-legged man. At a small Sicilian village in 1889, Frank Lentini was born with a rare condition called parasitic twinning, giving him a fully formed third leg jutting from his midsection. Instead of hiding it, Lentini learned to incorporate the extra limb into every part of life, walking, running, and even playing sports with remarkable balance. By the time he joined circus tours, he had developed an unusual agility that amazed audiences. He could kick, pivot, and dance in ways no two-legged performer could match. Photographs and press clippings from his shows highlight how his third leg often became a centerpiece of tricks and comedic routines, treated almost like a performing partner rather than an anomaly. Managers and promoters marketed him as a curiosity, but Lentini's own discipline and showmanship ensured that the act relied on skill as much as spectacle, making him one of the most technically impressive sideshow performers of his era. And now it's time for number 10, Martin Lorello, human owl. Born in Italy, Martin Lorello developed a reputation not for size or strength, but for an unsettling flexibility centered entirely in his neck. On stage, he would twist, glance, and pivot with such precision that it seemed as though his head could defy every bone in his body. Managers capitalized on the illusion, dressing him in tailored suits and placing dramatic lighting to accentuate the movement, making him appear almost supernatural. Off stage, Lorello maintained a strict routine of stretches and careful posture exercises, understanding that the feat demanded as much preparation as performance. Audiences were often drawn to the contrast, a perfectly ordinary man suddenly capable of emotion that no one thought possible, a quiet, controlled terror that left whispers in every theater he visited. Even in group photographs with other performers, his head's slight turn hinted at an impossible skill that defined his act entirely. Number 9. Arttoria Gibbons, tattooed lady. Arttoria Gibbons' skin told stories louder than any voice could. Each tattoo, saints, angels, and biblical scenes, was layered with bold lines and colors that rivaled the stained glass windows of cathedrals she admired. When she stepped onto the stage, audiences didn't just see a performer. They saw a tapestry of devotion stretched across living flesh, a visual sermon in motion. Performers and onlookers alike paused to study details. A tiny cherub hidden in a sleeve, a halo wrapping around her collarbone, symbols interwoven so intricately that every inch invited closer inspection. She moved deliberately, letting light catch the inked patterns, and sometimes let spectators trace the art with their eyes, as if reading a book that only her body could hold. Each city stop brought new interpretations, questions, and fascination, turning her presence into a dialogue between faith, art, and the spectacle of human endurance. Number 8. Pip and Flip. Pip and Flip didn't need gimmicks to captivate, but promoters never let reality get in the way of a good story. Rumors about their watermelon-shaped heads spread faster than their actual performances, and audiences arrived expecting caricatures. Instead, they were met with nimble humor and uncanny coordination. Juggling, acrobatics, and perfectly timed quips delivered in unison that made the exaggerated tales of their appearance almost irrelevant. They argued playfully mid-act, whispered conspiratorially, and occasionally broke into improvised routines that left managers scrambling to keep up. Their wardrobe mirrored their act. Bright, mismatched colors emphasizing motion and personality rather than physical traits. Outside the stage, they were scholars of timing, testing each other's reflexes and planning sequences that appeared effortless to spectators. By the time the crowd left, the shape of their heads mattered far less than the rhythm, energy, and mischievous intelligence they brought to every performance.
Number 7. Edoard Beaupre.
Edoard Beaupre's proportions were extraordinary, with limbs so long and hands so large that ordinary objects seemed miniature in comparison. He navigated daily life with inventive solutions, from custom furniture to widened doorways, turning necessity into routine. Strength came naturally, but he refined it with simple exercises, lifting barrels, logs, and tools with surprising control rather than reckless force. Stories from towns he visited speak of him helping farmers with heavy work or assisting neighbors with tasks others struggled to manage. Despite his size, he moved with deliberate agility, bending and twisting with a fluidity that contrasted sharply with expectations. Personal accounts describe a playful humor, gentle patience, and a keen awareness of his own image, allowing him to negotiate exhibitions, handle public curiosity, and maintain dignity in ways few giants of the era managed. Let's move on. Number 6. Karl Hermann Unen. Karl Hermann Unen's hands never existed, but his feet spoke a language few could imagine. Born in 1848 in Prussia, he mastered the violin by adapting posture, grip, and bowing entirely to his lower limbs, producing a sound both precise and emotive. Audiences didn't just hear notes, they felt phrasing and emotion projected through an unexpected instrument of dexterity. Letters and reviews describe him reading sheet music with toes, turning pages mid-performance, and even gesturing expressively while playing complex concertos. Offstage, he practiced for hours, developing flexibility, balance, and strength that allowed fluid motion while seated. His ingenuity extended beyond performance. He engineered special stools and supports to optimize reach and comfort. Fellow musicians marveled not just at technical skill, but at his ability to communicate subtleties of tone, vibrato, and dynamics, making every piece both a musical and physical marvel. Number 5. Cynthia, the Living Doll. Cynthia measured just over 3 feet in height due to dwarfism, which influenced every aspect of her performance and daily life. She executed complex choreography, balancing on oversized props and manipulating miniature sets with precision. Her training focused on coordination, strength, and flexibility to compensate for size differences compared with standard stage equipment. Costumes were custom-tailored to allow movement while highlighting proportions, and stage techniques were adapted for visibility and mobility. Documentation shows she traveled extensively with circuses and sideshows, performing routines that required endurance and consistent execution. Photographs and promotional materials highlight her posture, gesture control, and ability to operate mechanical props with hands and feet. She maintained independence in daily routines, demonstrating dexterity in tasks that most performers handled with larger stature. Number 4. Henry Johnson. Henry Johnson was born with a congenital deformity that left him without a lower jaw, a condition that profoundly affected both speech and feeding. Medical records and performance accounts indicate he required specialized prosthetics and careful dietary adaptations to maintain nutrition, often relying on soft foods and precise utensil techniques. Despite these challenges, he developed methods for articulation that allowed basic communication, demonstrating ingenuity in adapting oral mechanics to his condition. His upper facial structure, including prominent cheekbones and eyes, was preserved, and he trained extensively to control expressions for performances. Johnson toured extensively with sideshows, where his act was marketed for its rarity, but he personally focused on maintaining posture, balance, and breathing techniques to ensure physical stability during long exhibitions. Detailed notes from managers describe his diligence in personal hygiene, prosthetic maintenance, and mobility within caravans. Johnson also demonstrated resilience in managing social interactions, negotiating contracts, and participating in rehearsals, showing methodical preparation behind every public appearance. Number 3. Priscilla Bahano, Monkey Girl. During tours across the United States, Priscilla Bahano performed with hypertrichosis, a condition causing dense hair growth over most of her body. Her training emphasized flexibility, balance, and precision movements to execute acrobatic routines safely while maintaining posture and coordination. Clothing and costume design incorporated stretch fabrics and adjustable fittings to accommodate hair coverage, ensuring minimal restriction of motion. Daily maintenance included grooming routines to prevent matting, hygiene management, and skincare protocols to avoid irritation. Managers documented her adherence to strict rehearsal schedules, focusing on timing, stage positioning, and interaction with props. Medical notes confirm she maintained full physical health and mobility throughout extensive touring schedules. Bahano also contributed to scientific exhibitions, demonstrating physical capabilities and explaining the genetic and physiological aspects of her condition. Stage choreography integrated climbing, balancing, and coordinated hand-foot movements, highlighting technical skill rather than relying solely on appearance. Number 2. Felix Verley. Felix Verley, 1858 to 1933, was a sideshow performer known widely as the Elastic Skin Man. He likely had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a connective tissue disorder that gave his skin extreme elasticity. Verley could stretch his skin in large bunches, tugging it like taffy, and even bend his fingers in ways that looked physically impossible. He toured with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, showing off these stretchy feats on stage. His acts weren't just about pulling. He combined showmanship with precise control, often stretching the skin of his neck or other parts far from the body. Because of his condition, he also had flexible joints, which enabled more dramatic movements. Verley's performances were chronicled in medical and variety show archives, showing how he balanced the spectacle with a disciplined understanding of his body's limits. Number 1. Haji Ali. Haji Ali, often called the Cairo human pincushion, was a vaudeville performer known for his extraordinary ability to insert long needles and skewers into his body without serious injury. Born in the Middle East in the late 19th century, he developed precise techniques to pierce skin in controlled locations, avoiding vital organs and major blood vessels. His acts required exceptional knowledge of anatomy, steady muscle control, and rigorous preparation to prevent infection. He also performed swallowing and sword tricks, demonstrating versatility in physical endurance feats. Detailed reports and medical examinations documented the placement of multiple needles in his torso simultaneously, sometimes with small weights attached, and confirmed that his body could tolerate repeated performances. Tours took him across Europe and America, where his exhibitions were scheduled carefully to allow healing and maintain consistency, showing that his skill was grounded in methodical training and discipline rather than random daring. Strength, flexibility, and extraordinary physical conditions defined these 15 performers. Each mastered techniques to control their bodies, adapt to unique challenges, and execute precise acts repeatedly. Records show careful preparation, specialized training, and innovative solutions behind every feat. Their lives document the intersection of anatomy, skill, and disciplined performance in circus history. Explore more of history's most extraordinary performers by liking this video, leaving your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing for upcoming stories. Your support helps us create even more fascinating content. Thanks for watching and being part of this journey.